everybody, and it's Angela here at Wasaga Beach Public Library. And I have joining me from her home today, Mary Barnes, a local poet, and she's written the book, her first book of poetry, What Fox Knew. And Mary has joined us previously in the fall when her book was first released for an author talk. And I've invited her back to talk with us to celebrate April as National Poetry Month, to have Mary share some more readings and have a little chat with Mary. So welcome, Mary. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to see faces other than my in my house. You know, it's so isolated these days.
Yeah. So Mary just learned Zoom today, and I'm just learning Zoom as well. So we found a way to connect, which is great. And Mary's going to share some of her poetry with us in a bit. Mary, you emailed us earlier this week to let us know some good news, a bit of a feather in your cap. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, when my book was published, the publisher sent out the books to various awards for poetry, and I was longlisted for the Gerald Lambert Poetry Award, and I feel quite tickled about it.
And you should be. That's quite an honor. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And are you doing anything special to celebrate National Poetry Month?
Yes, the Canadian League of Poets have asked me to submit a poem from my book to their webpage, and if you go there, you will. It's not on yet. Other poets are there. And their little program is called Poetry Pause, so that's what I'm doing.
Very exciting. Fabulous. So how long did it take for you to come up with this gem, from conception to publishing? What was that like?
That was long, because I had been gathering the poems for some years, but it was within the last 3 years, I guess, that I gathered it all together and sent it out to my publisher, and he was excited about it and he wanted to publish it. And of course, I was dancing when I heard that.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
My private little dance.
Yes. Well, congratulations on that. We're very, very happy for you. Can you tell us about where you find the inspiration to write your poetry?
I find it in the landscape where I was brought up. I was brought up north of Parry Sound, and it was very rural, with all the trees and the river nearby and the rocks. And I also get inspiration from everyday happenings. And you know, I will see something that will stir my imagination, or I will see, I even have dreams, and the poem will come out of a dream.
Neat.
So,
when I picked up your book again the other day, just to refresh about some of your poems, it did strike me how I could just at an instant be right there with you, sitting in the nature, and you have a great knack for just really making things come alive and really putting your readers there with you. So yeah, I really enjoy reading your poetry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do you have maybe a couple favorite poems that you like to share with us today?
I have a couple. Now, I have one called Too Far Ahead. And one summer I was up visiting my family, up at my parents' place. And we went for a walk. And of course, it was evening. And this is the poem. It's called Too Far Ahead. Evening, and dusk settles on the dusty road, bathed in shadow where my mother, my children, and I walk. I'm walking quickly when my daughter calls out, "Mom." Wait, you're too far ahead. I turn and see what I have missed. The children jostling, laughter ringing in the air. We pass ferns, their brown-tipped fronds extending to the earth, full-headed milkweed and bees in masses gathering nectar. The scent of blooms pungent in the blushing twilight. My mother leans forward on her walking stick, smiles with contentment, and I see the wisdom of the child.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Nice. And do you have another one you'd like to share?
I'm sorry?
Is there another one you'd like to share with us?
Yes, there's another one, and I thought it was appropriate for the time. It's called Not a Wasaga Bay Morning, and I know the beach is closed to everyone. This poem came about, now I'm not too sure whether it was one November day or one March day. There was a bleak month when I was down there, and it was cold. And I just composed this poem. It's called Not a Wasaga Bay Morning. You park the car and stride towards the beach, where gray wool clouds ride low over the bay, on a wind that curls water onto the shore. 7 geese line the sand. The lead walks into the surf, and with tentative steps, the others follow him, then float on the white caps before taking off, straight as an arrow, flying, circling. And your heart lifts joyous, its beat as loud as the waves pounding in your ears. You understand then, you are part of the great mystery, the Creator, Itchimanatu.
Wonderful. Yes, I do agree that we're going to miss walking on that beach this summer. Hopefully we get to that, but yeah. Can you tell us about your writing process, Mary? What kind of routine do you have around writing? Is it part of your daily life, or what does that look like for you?
Well, first there's the image. I will see something and it will stir me, and then I will want to write. And I write longhand first, and then I will enter it into the computer. And of course, there's lots of re-editing and editing and editing before I get the final poem and that I started off with just an idea. And that's the general process. Yeah.
Great. So there is a very visual component to it,
Yeah.
in how it evolves. Yeah. As we kind of close up our meeting here, I'm just wondering if there might be a particular poem that jumps out for you at this time with what we're experiencing with the COVID-19 epidemic. Is there one that really speaks to you right now?
I had to think about that. I think there are a few poems in this book that we can relate to, but the one that I finally settled on was called The Red Balloon, because you can reach for it, and there is always that hope that that you will, catch something. You really can't catch it, but you have to accept what's there. And I think in this poem, it tells you about that process. It's called Red Balloon. It was not the kumquats cradled in my hands, glowing orange and ready for preserves. It was not the barrel of grapes, ripe and plump for winemaking, or the click of the raven's tongue as he perched above in the oak, that had me stop and wonder on the why of things. I thought it a mirage, but as it floated shimmering above me, I came to see it was a gift of love. For all the nickels there are in the world, for all the words there are in the dictionary, I hold this to be true. There is no time to waste. The thing to do is scramble up the slope of the sky to reach for the red balloon hovering there. Do not be shunted aside by roiling clouds or the mocking wind. Do not let the tirades of humans grate upon your ears and stop you from your endeavors. Be direct in your perceptions, and as credit follows hope, be as bold as the river rolling to the sea.
Wonderful. Love that. Yeah, I think we definitely in this time really need to have that hope that what this isolation that we're being forced to do is necessary, and that's the way to get through it, and just trust that that's the right thing, even though it's really hard on us. But yeah,
Trust
we'll all
yourself.
get there. We'll get there.
Yes.
Will there be a second book of poems for you, Mary? Are you working on that?
Yes, I've sent it in to my publisher. There was a series that he wanted to do, and I know I'll have to wait for that because it takes time. But yes, I'm hoping there will be one.
Very exciting. So how do we get our hands on this book of poetry, What Fox Knew? By Mary
I think
Barnes?
the best place is the publisher at baypress.ca. And there's also mcnallyrobinson.ca and another place called alllitup.ca. And you can order those online.
Great. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us today. And we do hope that we'll be able to see you live in person very soon. I know your afternoon book club folks will be missing your group, but hopefully we're back and meeting together again in no time. We wish you well. Take care.
Thank you very much, Angela, for inviting me. It's good to see a library face.
And good to see you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.